Hi, I'm Ned Koppen with the Fairmont Area Chamber of Commerce, and today I'm here with Dave Welcome from Welcome Motors. Hi, Dave.
Hello, Ned. How are you today?
Great.
That's good.
Why don't we start off and you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm grew up in New Prague, Minnesota. My dad was in the car business, and that's how I got involved in it. I kind of grew up cleaning up cars and seeing all aspects of the business,
Sure.
things like that. And grew up around it there, graduated from New Prague, and now I've been in Fairmont here for 23 years, moved down here, had an opportunity to buy a business from Evelyn DeBoer, and she had been in the car business with her husband, and saw the opportunity, knew eventually that I wanted to own my own car dealership, and that's how that came about. I did work for an auto auction while I was going to college for a couple of years, and I went to Normandale for 2 years, worked full-time at the auto auction, and that's where I learned a lot more about the car business that I didn't know, such as the marketing and that type of thing, how to look at a car, how to pick one out that's going to provide reliable transportation and be something that somebody could be proud of. And so that's how that all went about. I live here in Fairmont now, been here 23 years. We've had the dealership a little over 23 years actually, and married my wife. She's from Fairmont originally. We've got 2 boys, and they're 15 and 13, and time is flying by here in southern Minnesota. In. That's right. We're locked in. Yeah.
So Welcome Motors is on Highway 15.
That's right. We're on Highway 15, 1310 North State Street. So,
and you've been here for over 23 years, had the dealership for over 23 years. Can you tell us a little bit how car dealers have evolved and some of the changes you've seen during that time?
I sure can. Yeah, when I first started, there wasn't anything as far as the internet was just in its infancy stages, and the ways of getting your product out there for people to see and that type of thing was through newspaper, radio, television, things like that. And but basically, you'd put an ad. You get an ad ready for the newspaper every week, and maybe one of the shoppers, and you go from there. But then the internet kind of changed all of that, and our customers seem to be a lot more educated, and they actually know what they want when they walk in the door as far as colors, options, the vehicle they're looking for, and what kind of price they want to pay, and how many miles they'd like, and that type of thing. So that's been a big change. Before that, there's probably a little less selling on my part than there used to be.
Right, guiding them through the process now.
That's right, but they're well educated. They know what they're looking for. They want to buy a used car like they would order a new one. They have all the options figured out, seating arrangements, type of motors, many things like that.
And they can kind of predetermine that by going to your website, I'm sure, and taking a look at your inventory.
That's right, and our website's available 24/7. It's welcomemotorcompany.com.
Dave, we're going to take a quick break and cut to a segment we like to call
Martin County on TV Flashback.
I'm Al Travis, and we have in with us now Don Milbrand, Martin County Preservation Association member. Thanks for coming in, Don.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come, because it's an honor to be here and to talk about something to which I really believe in.
Well, you're a big fan, and it's called the Red Rocks Center.
Yes.
But I don't think most folks know it is that. I mean,
no.
that isn't what it's been in its history. Let's start. It used to be a church, right?
That's correct. Back in 1891, a church was started in Fairmont called the First Church of Christ Scientists. It's a Christian Science church.
Okay.
And in 1897, they decided that they wanted to build a church, and they bought this lot where this church is now presently standing. In 1898, they completed this church at a cost of $9,000, including the lot, which is, back in those days, a lot of money.
And for folks that don't know the building we're talking about, some folks out of town, we're talking on the Blue Earth Avenue and what corner?
Blue Earth Avenue and 222 Blue Earth Avenue, right by the museum, right across the street from the museum.
Across from the museum and a few blocks down from the Opera House.
That's right.
All right. Now, it was an old church, but it's had some tough times in the recent past in that it wasn't that long ago this place was going to be torn down.
That's correct. Just to give you a little survey, in 1898, when the First Church of Christ Scientists moved in there, they stayed in there until 1937, which they built the church now, which is now the Lakeside Funeral Home or Lakeview Funeral Home.
Oh, okay.
And in 1937, the Christian church purchased it and stayed in there until I think the mid-1980s.
Okay.
So this has been used as a place of worship for around 90 years.
But then since then, the mid-80s, it's been open?
It was used as a antique store for a short period of time, at which time that it closed, and then it just sat empty for about 10 years before, then it started going downhill.
How long ago did the restoration start? A year, 2 years, I'm just guessing?
Yeah. In the year of 2000, well, just to give you a little idea, I looked at that church for many years, and like everybody else.
Sure.
Why doesn't somebody do something? Why doesn't somebody take it down or whatever?
Sure.
And you remember Kelly Parnell? I had her up here
Sure,
back when we talked about the Pioneer Drive. And I said, Kelly, I'd like to show you something. So I took her down to show her this church. Now, you got to realize a church built in 1898 doesn't mean an awful lot from an older person like me. But for a younger person like some of these here and Kelly Parnell, 1898 is old.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it's long. And I asked Kelly, I says, Kelly, what do you think? And she says, Don, it's a kind of a bad shape. But I said, look at that date on it, 1898. Do you realize that Henry Ford had not started producing Model T Fords until 1914? There was only one train coming through Fairmont. There was no concrete on the streets, no gravel, just mud. There are wooden sidewalks. Really very little electricity. So really, we're getting back to really the beginning area of Fairmont. And they built this church, and how they did it, I do not know, because they had to do it with a lot of hand power.
Yep.
And horses had to be used a lot. So I asked her, I said, Kelly, what do you think? She says, Don, he says, save it for us.
Okay.
Save it for this younger generation. You got to make an effort to save it. And I agreed with her. I don't know if any of you realize we lost a beautiful library back many years ago, built by Carnegie in 1903. And so I visited with the Martin County Preservation Association, which is now restoring the Chubb House. And if you have not been to the Chubb House, I would recommend you take a look at it. That was built in 1867. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. That was almost ready to go to be a parking lot for the police department up there. But they felt it was important to save that.
Okay.
And I agree. I think it was a very good step.
Who's involved in the restoration of this church now? And you're calling it the Red Rock
Center.
now. So who else is involved in restoring that now?
Well, really, the Martin County Preservation Association is the primary source of people working on it. And we do have some volunteers working down there on a day-to-day basis, but basically it's the Martin County Preservation Association.
Does the Minnesota Historical Society get involved, other groups like that? Are they bigger pain than they're worth when they come and help you out?
Great. Minnesota Historical Society is the one that really put the stamp on it. I don't know if any of you realize that we have a National Register of Historic Places, and we have a copy in the museum, and I spent some time in the museum, and if you go to page 54, you'll find a picture of Red Rock Center or the First Church of Christ Scientists. And it is already listed in the Historical Register. So, do you want it to come down if it's already listed in history, as a part of our history? So we called Minnesota Historical Society, and a Mr. John Lauber came down to Fairmont, and he met with us, and he took pictures, and he climbed around all over, and he came back, and he says, it's in bad shape. But, we've saved worse places than this. Okay. And so it was their help that day.
We're going to quick run out of time, and I want to get a little bit to the meat and potatoes. If you do get it restored, how does someone help you get it restored, and what happens to it when it is restored?
Good question.
Thanks.
I'd like to just give you some idea. This is for those of you who are not aware of what the church looks like, this is what it looks like now from the beginning. It's a beautiful, beautiful church. It's made of red quartzite. There are no other buildings in Fairmont built with this material.
Okay.
The design is very unique. There is no other building with this design in this area at all. So we just think it's a great thing. The thing that I like to talk about, this is the blueprints or the documentation we have. This is the lower level. This part here is already being spoken for by the Genealogy Society. This is going to be a big conference room for Al Travis or whoever wants to use it for a community center.
Okay.
This is the upstairs. You got to realize there are 19 stained glass windows on all four sides. And if you have not been in there, take a look at those stained glass windows. They're beautiful.
How can someone get involved? We're running out of time
Yeah.
quick. How can someone get involved if they'd like to help you out? Is it just a matter of sending a check? Maybe someone's got some muscle and they want to help you out. What do they do and who do they get a hold of?
We have a form that we have put together, listing gifts and so forth, of raise the roof, $1 to $499, bricks and mortar, and so forth. And if you're interested, just make a donation out to the Martin County Preservation Association, P.O. Box 555, Fairmont, Minnesota, 56031. This is a tax-deductible organization, so it is a gift, and it would be that you could use it for tax exemption. We are really interested in getting people of our community in Martin County involved in this, Al. We think it's a tremendous thing.
So get a hold of the MCPA and write a check, or get a hold of somebody.
Just let
that's
us
a
know if you're
volunteer.
interested. We'll come and see you.
Thanks, Don. I
Yeah.
appreciate it a ton.
Martin County on TV flashback.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was great.
When someone comes to Welcome Motors and they walk through the door, tell us a little bit about your business, or maybe what's most important to you, kind of the foundation of your business.
The foundation of our business is the principles that I've gone by and my father had gone by before that. He's still in business, but trust, integrity, and respect is kind of things we push. When you walk in my dealership, you're not going to be bombarded with salespeople. I'm the first office there when you walk in the door, and we've got one other salesman right now and a full-time secretary, and then we've got a detailer. So that's there's basically the four of us right now, and then a few more independent contractors that come in and do some things for us as far as preparation of the vehicles.
As we look down the road, what do you see as the future for Welcome Motors?
Future of Welcome Motors is probably just continue to treat our customers with respect, integrity, and trust, and we try to we stand behind the product that we do sell. I don't want people to have problems, and we're in a small town where you definitely their cars, they do break once in a while, but it's how you deal with that.
Service is a big deal.
That's right, how you service them. We want them coming back again and again and sending their children and their grandchildren, and hope that we could sell them automobiles too. So looking forward to that.
How about the car industry as a whole? Do you see major changes there that we should be expecting?
Yes, I would say there definitely is probably going to be some. Whether we're going to be burning as much petroleum in the future, or if we're going to have electric cars, I always think maybe more in the Twin Cities there'd be, or the bigger cities across the country, there'd maybe be more mass transit, and you see people less. Maybe they'd get into leasing cars or doing a share program where they just rent the access to a vehicle. But here, I think down in southern Minnesota and more of your rural areas, that's probably not it's probably not feasible. So everybody's probably wants their own independent form of transportation. Now, whether that's going to burn gasoline or if it's electric, that's yet to be seen, I guess.
Right. Well, that tells us a lot about Welcome Motors. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us before we're done here today?
Yeah, I would just thanks for the opportunity to coming down and share my business, and I like to think that I know we've got a lot of satisfied customers, and
I know that you do.
That's right, Ned, you're one of them, so we appreciate that through the years. It's been great, and just like to form that bond with as many people as we can, and kind of share our expertise and get them what they're looking for.
I'm sure that's going to happen. You guys do a great job. You've got a great business, and Fairmont's lucky to have you.
Well, I'm lucky to be in Fairmont, so very proud of this community, and it's been a great place for me to grow a family, and I've been very satisfied and happy with it.
Now, earlier you mentioned your website.
That's right. Our website's welcomemotorcompany.com, and we also have a Facebook page. Be sure and like us on that, Welcome Motor Company.
Dave, thanks a lot. It's been great having you here today, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds great, Ned. Thank you.